All right, hello. Welcome to another episode of Stand Tall. Today is July 25th, where we are going to cover more of Sun Tzu's Art of War and also tie in a little bit of Western philosophy and Stoicism. So, without further ado, let's get started. 728. Now, a soldier's spirit is keenest in the morning. By noonday, it has begun to flag, and in the evening, his mind is bent only on returning to camp. A clever general, therefore, avoids an army when its spirit is keen, but attacks it when it is sluggish and inclined to return. This is the art of studying moods. So that's like one translation. We like this alternate translation because some generals have followed up and given their opinions. So morning energy is keen, midday energy slumps, evening energy recedes. Therefore, those skilled in use of arms avoid the keen energy and strike the slumping and receding. These are those who master energy. The morning means the beginning. Mei Yao Chen says the morning means the beginning, midday means the middle, and the evening means the end. I think that's very important to kind of recognize in the metaphor of beginning, middle, and end, dawn, midday, dusk, and how it can be attributed to like a project management process. There's the beginning of the project, everyone's excited. The middle of the project, we're working hard, and as we get towards the end, towards our final goals, people can slow down, and just things like that. So army wise, yes, but also business wise, it's good to remember that as well. What this says is that soldiers are keen at first, but eventually they slump and think of going home. So at that point, they are vulnerable. And then Ho Yong-chi has a bunch of stuff that he says, and it in the end kind of has to do with like rallying up your troops to like go fight, and how the logical person does not want to go face death, but if you stir them up and kind of get them raring to go, they'll go and imperil themselves without trepidation. And it just says, just about anybody can fight in a minute if they get excited. But when it comes to actually taking up arms and seeking to do battle, this is being possessed by energy. So kind of like a energy versus intention, I guess. Like, just because you're like ready to fight, but like actually intending to form a take up arms and go fight, that's more well thought out, more intentioned, and the process behind it is just better thought out. Take it slow. What's on your tombstone? July 25th, a reading from Seneca on the brevity of life. 20. When you see someone often flashing their rank or position, or someone whose name is often bandied about in public, don't be envious. Such things are bought at the expenses of life. Some die on the first rungs of the ladder of success, others before they can reach the top, and the few that make it to the top of their ambition through 1,000 indignities realize at the end it's only for an inscription on their gravestone. Wow. Okay. Sometimes our professional commitments can become an end unto themselves. A politician might justify the neglect of his family for his office, or a writer might believe that her genius excuses antisocial or selfish behavior. Anyone with some perspective can see that, in fact, the politician is really just in love with fame, and the writer enjoys being condescending and feeling superior. Workaholics always make excuses for their selfishness. While these attitudes can lead to impressive accomplishments, their cost is rarely justified. The ability to work hard and long is admirable, but you are a human being, not a human doing. Seneca points out that we're not animals. Is it really so pleasant to die in a harness? He asked Alexander Solzhenitsyn. he asked. Alexander Solzhenitsyn put it better. Work is what horses die of. Everybody should know that. All right. July is about duty. The Art of War, chapter 7 is about maneuvering. We just talked about dusk, dawn, midday, not necessarily in that order, but knowing where you're at. Perhaps you actually do come in a situation where you have to understand previously what happened in the dawn phase of something, and you've come in the middle, or you're in the dusk phase, and you're actually better at helping people rally themselves in that moment. And so we need to be aware of the moods of our employees, of ourselves, of those around us. And when we're reflective like that, we're able to better understand the maneuvering and then our duty, not only to ourselves, but to those around us. And while the author and the writer and the business person, the politician, these people that he talks about that are all us in a lot of different ways, just make sure that we're being humble and checking ourselves, because when we get to a certain level of hoity-toityness, that's kind of when we're ready to go home maybe, and we're not paying attention and we could be attacked. It's you know every kind of like facet of the art of war isn't only about finding ways to win. It's finding how to defend yourself and being aware of, like, studying the emotion of when things are slowing down or we're getting tired is when we need to know that we're weak and vulnerable as well. And so tying together all of these things, I think is a great way to say, continue to pace yourself. It's your duty not to burn out, but at the same time, be very aware of where you're at. And I dug this up. I can't believe I had this book, but I love it. I love it. And the art involved. This is the art of studying moods, and it's got this little Venn diagram that I love, because it really visualizes like what happens when you're in a modern context at the end of the day and it's just disengaged. When you're exhausted and overworked, you're spacey. Your mind is just gone. And so it's important as leaders to make sure that those people that are making our organizations better through their sacrifices of their time and their work and their intelligence, those people need to be rewarded with time for their families, for themselves, and that we just need to realize that, like, as our duty, at the end of the day, the horse dies of work. And while it's nice to be a workhorse in times, we don't want to be a workhorse all the time. So, with that, I think keep standing tall. I'm going to go to the gym now, and we'll see you guys on the next one.